Once again.
Hello, it's Jimmy here from Wiley's, and we're coming today to look at this Freelander. It needs a starter motor replacement. So we're going to get the bonnet open and have a look around. We can see the starter motor just down there. Don't know much about this vehicle, so I don't know if it's easier to get it from the bottom or the top. It's something we're going to have to figure out here. Having a look around, it looks like I'm going to remove the engine cover and remove this gearbox, and we're going to have a look at going in from the top. So the gearbox looks like it's just pulled out on some rubber clips, and there should be a little bolt down there. Sorry, you can't see just there, but obviously you can see the bolt's missing, so that should just come out. So we're going to remove these clips and get this pipe and box out, remove this plug. Get this clip loose and we can pull this pipe out. We've got a little small pipe here as well that we're going to remove. So once the clips are out, we can then just pull this up. It's just sitting on some grommets there, so it just pulls up. One thing to remember on this video is we've only spent less than 60 seconds looking at the engine, so this is not a definitive how-to. This is just us going through the vehicle and figuring out how we're going to remove the starter. On the engine cover you got 1 and 2 bolts here, 30mm, sorry, T30 torque. Now that we've got that engine cover off, looking at this, it's exactly the same engine, same fuel filter, and all of this front area is exactly the same as a Range Rover Evoque. So that's a good point if anyone wants to know. This coolant pipe here, now you don't have to remove this. I wouldn't say you'd have to definitely remove it, but I'm going to remove it just by pulling up this clip here. It looks like it's going to be in the way of me getting some of these bolts out. I'm going to try and remove this this section here, which looks like the throttle body. I'll just use a little hook here to pull the clip up, and then we can get this pipe out. And we're going to lose a little bit of water there, but not much by the looks of it. Just tuck that over there. We'll lose maybe a litre or two. Just put something there so it just drips down away from the alternator. Now we've got that pipe tucked out of the way, we're going to disconnect the battery. Looks like someone's done a little bit of a bodge there. Now looking from here, once we've got this pipe out of the way, we can actually see the live connections there that go onto the starter motor, so we may not have to remove any of this. We should be able to just get these bolts off from here, and the rest of the bolts are 1, 2 and 3 around this section here. So we've just removed the 2 bolts from the starter, and on the ignition wire down here, let me just get a torch down there. If you can see there, the bolt has come out. It's snapped off the starter motor, so we need to now grind this bolt off of the connector. So we're just going to hold that there at the minute, and we're going to have to get this grinded off. I'd imagine this is going to be a common problem for anyone else doing the same job. And we're going to use one of these tools here. And we've been able to grind that off. So we've got this bolt out of the way here. Now for these bolts, we've got one here and we've got another one a few inches to the right, which we've got our socket on there, just down here. I'm just going to open these two bolts, 1 and 2 there. Just there, it's just underneath the wiring, right opposite this plug here. That's the first bolt, and we have the second bolt here, and let's just come out from there, right here. Now there's another bolt a little bit further down, just down there where I'm shining my torch. So you can see that little hole there where I've taken that bolt out. Just there, another one underneath. Now, to get to this bottom bolt, you've got this wire loom in the way down here, and you've got a little 8mm bolt here, which I'm removing. Once I've got that removed, I should be able to move this wire loom to the side to get to this bolt, because it's sitting right on top of it. Just that bolt right there. Now the bolt's out, we can get this wire loom. Sorry if it's a bit dark there. You can see there, that's wire loom. We can just move it back a little bit now, a few inches, and we can get a spanner on that bolt down there. So here's the last bolt here. Got this spanner on it, and we've just broke it open, but believe me, it was extremely tight. So if you can see it from here, can you see? Let me just try and get the camera angle down on there. Just here, right there. And now you can see the starter motor's coming apart there. Grabbed hold of it there, and now it should just slip up here. And there we go. Here's where the old bolt has come off. I mean, it's no wonder it came off. You can see it's just like a little spade clip that comes out with a bolt attached to it. Bit of a bad design there, really. And here we've got the new one, and there's a little bolt again that sticks on it. So we're gonna get this down, slide it down in there, and we'll have to get off camera for a second because I'm gonna need my 2 hands. And something a little point out there, if anyone can see that. Little badge down there, Ford, and on your gearbox, FOMO, which, if anyone doesn't know, the Range Rover Freelander, Range Rover Evoque, is fitted with this Ford engine and gearbox. Position how the starter is sitting on top of the engine like this. So here's where you got the bolts. You got a bolt that goes through here. That's where it sits. You got the one through the bottom, one in the middle, and one on the right. They're all going through this way, through the gearbox, and they just run around here. You can see there where my finger is, and they just run around. So we're going to get all these tightened up, and then get our cable bolts back on there, on the top, just over there where you can see, behind that wire, just there. And we've got those 2 bolts on there, and we've got our bolts down here around the gearbox on. So now we can disconnect, we can connect back our coolant hoses and put back our airbox, and it should be job done. Got this one. Now we're going to clip it back in here. Just push that all the way in. Once that pipe's back in, we just push our airbox back into place, plug our plug back in, and we can reconnect the battery to the car. Just put that on there. I can get that tightened up. these wires and make sure they're routed back where they're supposed to be. Push those little grommets back in there. The wires are running nice and flat. We can get our case cover, clip it back in. On top there. You can slide this engine cover back on, it just slips back on there. And get our little bolts back in there. We'll get those tightened up. And that is a job all done. We should be able to put our key in and start the vehicle.